Welcome to Community at Home. Today is Friday, May the 1st. First day of May. One of the things that we've been doing with Community at Home is just kind of helping us to live the truth of Jesus in everyday life. There's a lot of truth out there. Sometimes we can go to a passage of Scripture and say we can read this, and there's wisdom that we get from other people. Kind of our theme for doing these little moleskin wisdom moments is in Proverbs, where it talks about, or Proverbs about every chapter talks about wisdom and talks about how we need to get as much wisdom as we can, and we should seek out instruction from others, and the counsel of a wise man, and those kind of things. And what I've done with this little moleskin book is I just write down key quotes and thoughts that I've had over the years, and I'm just sharing, just going through, and I'm literally started at the beginning, and I'm just going to the page that's next, and so I'm not picking and choosing from that standpoint. And this is what's next. It's literally written under a day or two ago we talked about the all or nothing dynamic, and this is what's under that. Values, goals, purposes determine choices, not people's reactions. And I'm going to say that one again. Values, goals, purposes determine choices, not people's reaction. Here's another one that's very similar. What you should do and what people's response are going to be is two different issues. Let me read that one again. What you should do and what people's response are going to be is two different issues. Okay? And so these are back-to-back things. Values, goals, purposes determine choices, not people's reactions. What you should do and what people's response is going to be is two different issues. Now, I am a people pleaser. I like to please people. I like harmony. I like for everyone to get along. That's part of how I'm wired. If you know anything about the temperaments, I'm green. I'm a deep green. And one of the things I struggle with is being a people pleaser. I want people to be pleased with me, but I think it's more I don't want them to be not pleased with me. If that makes sense. I don't know if I really strive for people to be pleased with me. I think what drives me is I am very afraid, I think is a word I could say, concerned when people don't agree with me. So that's no doubt why I wrote these two down. And I think these are from Henry Cloud. Values, goals, and purposes determine choices, not people's reactions. What you should do and what people's response are going to be are two different issues. So when I have to make a decision, and you have to make a decision, make the decision. Determine what the decision should be based on values, goals, and purposes. What should the decision be based on? What is the right thing to do? What is the best thing to do? And then, once the decision is made, you give thought to, okay, now what are the reactions to people going to be? And how am I going to respond? Because when I put those two together, or those two things start to get blended, then I'm going to make decisions based on people's reactions, not based on what should or shouldn't be done. So we're in the COVID-19 thing. We have governments coming out and talking about you can do this, you cannot do this. Stores are beginning to say in order to come in you have to wear a face covering. And we have to make decisions. And as we move forward, specifically as a church and as churches, how are we going to do this? Because here's the thing about church. There is no church worth its salt and light that is set up for social distancing. It's just not set up for that. So how are we going to regather, and when do we regather? What's that going to look like? Are we going to have children's ministry when we regather? Do we start gathering without children's ministry? Do we wait till everything can be the way that's always been before we start back? Do we have extra services? There's all kinds of things. All kinds of decisions to be made. And when you make a decision based on people's reactions, you probably aren't going to make the best one. Rather, you're going to make the right one. Make your decisions based on your values, your goals, and your purposes. Make your decisions based on what is the right thing to do. What would God have me do? What would love require me to do? And how people react to it, how people respond to it, should not come into play in that decision. Now, how people respond and how we love on people when we make a decision is just another decision. But we can't confuse it with the first decision that needs to be made. So as you go about making your own decisions in your own life, may you remember to not get those two things confused. The decision that I should make and people's reaction to that decision are indeed two separate things. See you soon.